What about moving forward? I mean, is it something it is still on the cards in your opinion or not?
I think from the comments last night, it is still on the cards. We have heard a little bit of a change in sort of stance from the Fed from their FOMC meeting in April as to what we heard last night. Certainly a lot of this was around GDP growth and unemployment prospects moving forward in the US. Yes, data in the US recently has been a little bit disappointing. We've seen some very disappointing payroll data last month, as well as retail sales and industrial production all contracting. However, in April in the FOMC meetings, the comments on employment from Ben Bernanke was employment conditions were improving. Last night we saw comments around unemployment, that growth in unemployment has now slowed and unemployment remains elevated. So that's a clear change in sort of comments we've heard from them in terms of unemployment. So I think this does leave the door open for QE3. But as I was saying before, I don't think markets at the moment are in quite the same position they were when QE1 and QE2 was announced. And certainly QE3 would be on the cards, possibly further on. Maybe not as big as what we saw in QE1 and QE2, but certainly a possibility still. But markets, I think, were just getting a little bit ahead of themselves in terms of prospects of it being announced last night.
Further investment in terms of those iron operations, in particular in the Pilbara, some $4 billion.
That's right, over $4.2 billion they're going to pump into their iron ore operations. That's in Western Australia, in the Pilbara, as well as in New Guinea. And at the moment, Rio is producing at a run rate of around 225 million tonnes per annum from the Pilbara. They're looking to expand that out to 353 million tonnes per annum by around the first half of 2015. Now, 2.9 billion of this will be on expanding the jetty and rail infrastructure at their Cape Lambert port, as well as 570 million on a new gas-fired power station also at Camp Lambert. But Rio is the largest iron ore producer in the Pilbara. But if you look at the other companies operating there, they are also expanding. BHP, they're looking to expand out from 155 million tonnes to 220. And Fortescue certainly have big expansion plans on the cards, from 55 to 155, and then possibly looking further out to around 300 million tonnes per annum. I think what the market's interested to hear is there's been some significant concerns around spending in terms of the commodity space, certainly steel production slowing in China and also falling commodity prices. So does this warrant further spending in the iron ore sector? As Rio is the leader in the iron ore in Pilbara, certainly looking to spend money to support their infrastructure. And we have seen iron ore prices start to recover a little bit after they did dip back earlier this year. They're back up around $137 a tonne at the moment. And I think Bell Potter actually just reduced their iron ore target to 140 tonnes for 2012. That's down from around $150 and $143 for 2013. But in terms of Rio expanding out, certainly infrastructure key for iron ore. So expanding their operations there means they will be able to get out to that 353 million tonnes, which I think a lot of analysts in the market have already factored into Rio Tinto.